Welcome to Powerhouse with Coach Maker, your weekly engagement into the heart of the nation's political and economic pulsation. Live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. on SSBC television. This is Powerhouse, where realization meets empowerment, just on SSBC television.
Tonight, we'll delve into the heart of South Sudan's political landscape, where the quest for democracy and stability continues amidst turbulent challenges. For over a decade since independence, the nation has grappled with cycles of violence, impeding the democratic process. Following the collapse of peace agreements, signatories have extended their efforts for another 24 months, paving the way for the anticipated December 2024 general elections. At the forefront of this vital moment stand the political parties' council task with crucial responsibilities: monitoring, regulating, registering, and if necessary, deregistering political entities. Now, we have the privilege of speaking with James Zakayo, the chairperson of the Political Parties Council, to shed light on the progress and preparation as South Sudan marches towards democratic elections. Join us as we explore the journey of political evolution and readiness of parties as they navigate this historical juncture. Honorable, welcome to SSBC Powerhouse with Coach Maker. Just to begin with, briefly, how many political parties have successfully completed the registration process so far, and can you provide an insight into their readiness for the upcoming general elections?
Thank you, Coach Maker, and I'm excited to attend your show and the Powerhouse. Currently, we have 14 registered political parties, and we are looking forward to registering more parties in the near future.
So briefly, can you enlighten us on the individuals who have announced their candidacy for the presidential position in the upcoming elections?
It is the role of the Election Commission to announce the individuals who are aspiring to participate in the election. So as an individual, I'm not sure who is going to contest for election. But this is the role of Election Commission. Yeah.
So it's just the registration for the political parties, that is what you do?
As a council, we regulate political parties, starting from registration, deregistration, all the processes that are involved in the regulation of political parties.
There have been a report circulating on social media, including a letter with the political parties' official stamp, suggesting that the registration fee for political parties is set at $50,000. On the other hand, we have seen Dr. Lama Cole recently commented on this, so expressing concerns about that amount of money and how people can afford and people cannot, where he advocates for the reasonable fee of 20,000 South Sudanese pound. Could you clarify the accuracy of this information, maybe to the viewers?
To clarify more on this issue, those who have applied to be registered need to meet certain criteria. Among them is the registration fee. So registration fee is the last on the criteria that need to be met for the party to be registered. But this 50,000 SSP, this $5,000 is payable in SSP at the applicable to USD rate on the date of payment. So we have not asked those parties that want to register, or the group that had organized itself want to register a political party to pay $50,000. No. The idea is we have asked them to pay this fee but in SSP, not in US dollar.
But why? Why quoting the prices in dollars?
Yeah,
especially?
you see, we have experience in the council. If you see in 2015 upward, we have had a fee which was 20,000 by then, and we have noticed that the value had depreciated, the currency value had depreciated, and as a council, we set as a council an amended regulation. 2015 regulation was amended to 2024. The regulation for the implementation of the current Act, the 2012 Amendment Act 2022. In this regulation, we have schedules of fees. Among the schedules of fees, we have the application for...
But Honorable, before you give us the breakdown, you are saying you have quoted the prices in dollars because of the depreciation in pounds.
Yeah, but it's payable in SSP.
Yes,
not,
yes. But the quotation, it's payable in SSP, but with the current rate at that particular time.
Central bank rate, yeah.
Yes. But we have been hearing about dollars. When people quote things in dollars, that meant maybe you want to go and buy things outside. But this one is a national thing, Political Parties Council. So why must it be equivalent to the amount that is? Why? What are you people buying outside the country that need?
You see, a dollar is a major currency, and there is nowhere we can take dollar out of our equation. It can be in our policy, but the most important thing is, are we going to receive this payment in SSP or in dollar? That's what matters. We have not asked public to pay in dollar. We have asked them to pay in equivalent at the central bank rate. And the fact that dollar is acknowledged within our economy, that's why it has a rate in the central bank. Otherwise, it wouldn't be given a rate in the central bank.
Yeah, but now it's like the entire country is turning into dollars, even things that are meant for national. If you people are quoting them in dollars, that means there's a problem.
It's not that there's a problem. There is a fear of a dollar. You know, we need to take this out of the equation. The fact that our economy is shrinking and the dollar is becoming a commodity now, then now, whenever anything that happens to be quoted in dollar, people have that fear of dollar, which is the problem. But we have not asked the applicants to pay this fee in dollar.
Okay,
because now, if you look at it, was this the second schedule, which was amended, of which we have so many structures, like 8 fee structures. Political parties that are now aspiring to register, and as mentioned by law, that any political party that want to participate in the election must be registered 180 days prior to the election. So because of that, some parties are finding it a bit hard to catch up with the time frame, which is actually should have been an arrangement that they have done earlier, because we all know earlier that there will be an election at the end of transitional period, so they should have prepared themselves earlier. Yeah, they should have prepared themselves earlier.
Okay, now explain the rationale behind that fee structure. Tell us the breakdown. How does it go?
Yeah, it has 5 items. The item number 1 is the name and the symbol search, because when you apply, we have to search the name whether it exists or not. That one has a fee of 20,000 US dollar payable in SSP, and the second was is the perusal to the information to accompany application for provisional registration. That one is 15,000 payable in SSP, and we have the verification of the applicant. I mean the application. So to go through the process of verification, that one is 3,000, and then comes the provisional enrollment. Enrollment is 2,000, and then finally, the certificate of provisional registration, which is 10,000. All these fees are payable in SSP. There are situations whereby, like for instance, you were previously given provisional license and your license expired. Now you will not go through all this. You will just come for the certificate of registration, I mean the provisional registration, which is going to be one item, you see. So you'll only be paying 10,000, which is equivalent in SSP. So you will not go through all these 50. Yeah. But, you know, because for other purposes, some politicians have taken this fee to make it as, you know, sort of creating space. But I don't think it is necessary to do that. If they have concerns, they should come to the institution and talk to us. Then we see how it can be done. But this is a policy. There's nothing that can be done with the policy. Yeah.
So those 14 political parties that have registered, they paid that 50,000 US dollars, or they had registered before the new fee structure?
We actually don't have any party that has registered recently, no. These are the old parties that were registered long time before even the revitalized peace agreement. These are the same parties that still exist now. Yeah.
So there are no more parties coming, or they are at your desk, but they are fearing the 50,000 US dollars?
You see, there is issue here. People think that election is not going to be real. There may be an extension, and also some parties are fearing meeting the requirements, so they would rather not apply to register now, but which is not good. It's not a good indicator. Yeah, we think that it would be good if the parties can regularize themselves. Yeah, than to have parties that are not registered.
Talking of requirements, what are some of the requirements apart from the fee structure that is set for the registration? What other requirement do you need as a council?
For the party to be registered, you must draw your members from 500 from 10 states and 3 administrative areas, or you say from states and 3 administrative areas. And those 500 members must reflect the 35% the representation of women, also in the leadership structure, and must also reflect the diversity of ethnicity that we have in the country. And you must also provide the leadership. We need to see that the 35% of women is represented in the leadership. Those are the requirements. You must bring your laws, regulations, and you must also have presence in those areas. And definitely we will go and verify on the ground to see that those numbers exist in those states. And we also need to have the constitution and the regulations that governs that party, and so many other requirements.
Last year, your request for the establishment of the Political Parties Council and allocation of a political parties fund was brought into the high-level standing committee. Despite the existence of the registration fee that is 50,000 US dollars, there seemed to be a need for additional budgetary allocations. Could you elaborate on the council's budget, and were you given the money?
In a nutshell, yes, we have been given money, and the money for the pre-election activities.
How much did you request it, and how much were you given?
The election budget is divided across the electoral process, which is pre-election activities, election activities, and post-election activities. So now we have been resourced based on the activities that are relevant to the pre-election activities, and when the time comes for during the election, then there will be a budget for that.
Now that you are at the pre-electoral process, right?
Yes.
So what is the council doing at this particular time?
You see, during the pre-election activities, we know period. This is the period where we do the recruitment, and this is the period now we do the training, and this is the period now we do the sensitization, and this is the period now we extend to the states. Yeah.
So what role exactly and responsibilities does the Political Parties Council undertake during the electoral and post-electoral phases of the political process, ensuring fair and transparent election?
The role that we play as a council is to observe the election.
That is during election?
Yes, during the election, to observe the activities of the political parties during the election. And now this will create a situation where we can be able to do an evaluation after the election, which is during the post-election period. And the issues that will be encountered during the election, these are the issues now, we will address them during the post-election.
You are saying you will be observers. So you will be stationed in every poll station where the election will be taking place as a council?
We will be observing activities of the political parties. Yeah, not the electoral, not
or
the
activities,
activities
including
of
the
political parties,
campaign, all those things.
Yes.
Yeah. So for now, you are doing the registration. That is the pre now.
Yeah, we have started the registration, and those ones that have applied, they have not applied according to the required procedure, and we have shown them now how they should apply, but they haven't yet come back with the feedback. So we are expecting them to come back quickly because the time is running.
According to the Political Parties Act of 2012, Amendment Act 2023, that is Chapter 3, it empowers the council to register, monitor, regulate, and register political parties. Could you provide any information on any parties that have been deregistered, and why were they deregistered?
Yeah, we haven't yet deregistered any parties so far. And if there are breach, of course, definitely we will deregister them. Yeah.
Okay, but these parties that you have told them to go back and come back later, what does that mean? The one that have not meet the requirements?
Some parties just came with, a single page, a paper, and say this is an application. But application is, it comprises of so many documents that you need to bring a file. It's a bunches of file full of papers.
So you need a proposal?
Not a proposal. There are requirements, a checklist that they need to meet on the requirements. Like, for example, their laws, their governing body, their first meeting of the board. I mean, the founding members, and the structure of the party, the political party, or the body that wants to register to be a political party. Those ones are the ones we want, including their regulation.
What if?
But they have not provided those. So you will just find a party applying with one page and say this is an application for the political
I
party.
thought if that one page can contain all the requirements that you need, it's also acceptable.
Not possible, because you cannot have a law that's one page. We need their regulations and we need their laws. And yeah, we need those documents.
So in that process, they have to involve a lawyer and all those drafting, all those things.
No, we actually it's a part of our duty to tell them how they should apply. And we have provided them steps on how they should apply, and we are expecting them to come back with those steps. But it seems now that the requirements are a bit tough, so nobody turned up so far up to now.
We have seen a letter from the SPLM-IO where they have cited that now the government has started funding the two pillars of that are heading people towards election. That is the National Election Commission and Political Parties Council, urging why the other ones are left out, like the statistic, the security, the constitution review. So what can you say about that? Is there any priority when it comes to all these six of them that have been put in place that are taking people towards a common goal, that is towards election? Is there any priorities that the government is doing at that particular time in time when they're giving out the funding?
I cannot answer on behalf of the government, but what I know as a council, we have the initial stage of this process where we have to prepare political parties, and then the election commission now gets the parties from us, and now be able to have the candidates for the election. So the process is yes, if of course, yeah, there should be the consideration of the National Review Commission should have been considered, and all this, because it's necessary that they should make necessary laws, and then the demographic data should be provided by the Bureau of Statistics. I mean the Bureau of Statistics. Yeah. If they have not been resourced, the government is supposed to be the one to answer that question. But I see that the great role lies now on the Political Parties Council to be able to prepare parties before June.
Dear viewer of SSBC, we are taking a short break. Stay with us.
Welcome to Powerhouse with Coach Maker, your weekly engagement into the heart of the nation's political and economic pulsation. Live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. on SSBC television. This is Powerhouse, where realization meets empowerment, just on SSBC television.
Hello dear viewer of SSBC, welcome back. After that short break, we are still here with the chairperson of the Political Parties Council, Honorable James Akol Zakayo, who is here telling us what roles are they playing before and during elections as the country is gearing up for December 2024 general election. Recently, we've been seeing Political Parties Council collaborated with parties representative to validate a code of conduct for political parties. Could you share the outcome of this collaborative effort and the implication for political behaviors and ethics during the electoral process?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Yes, of course, recently we have validated the code of conduct for the political parties, and it was initially meant to be voluntary, and we suggested that this should be mandatory, but during the session when we ended the workshop that was organized by the council in collaboration with UNMIS, we eventually found out that it is necessary that this document must be owned by the Political Parties Council so that it can have the legality. If you look at the Political Parties Act 2012, it gives us the power to regulate and draft regulations that are necessary for the implementation of the Act. And then also in Section 18E of the Political Parties Act 2012, Amendment Act 2022, gives us the power and me as a chair to sign all the regulations. So I had asked the participants of the code of conduct, the validation, those parties that were stake to the formation of the document, that the document must be owned by Political Parties Council, because this document, it belongs to all the parties, not to those parties who were at stake on the initiation of the document. We could not reach to a conclusion because those parties want to sign with me the document, so I refused. I told them, okay, if that is the case, then the document should be called a voluntary code of conduct and should be signed by those parties who were at stake to this document. We as a council, we will incorporate some of the provisions that exist in this document. We will put them on our regulations, and it will be mandatory. Yeah.
Okay, is it these 14 parties that have registered who came up with that draft code of conduct?
No. It was a combination of some alliances and parties who have not yet been registered, and also the registered parties. But we believe that for this document to have the legality, it must be owned by Political Parties Council, and also to have also an enforcement institution. It should be owned by the the Political Parties Council. And that is why we agreed that the document must be incorporated into our regulations so that we can be able to regulate all the political parties and we make them abide by the document.
Okay, from what we saw, because that day I attended the event, the last validation process, I happened to be there. So there was like disagreement between the other political parties, despite the fact that they had sent representatives from different political parties. So what could be the issue? Is it only the signature or there's something beyond that to the document?
You see, the document says that the political parties forum must also have presence in the states. And we as the council, we have already presence in the states. So we can be able to establish forums at the state level, but should not be controlled by those who were a stake to the initiation of the document. So if I give them that power to sign the document, then now they will have an upper hand on those political parties at the state level, which is something we don't want to encourage. We want to have one body that regulates all the parties, but not alliances or coalitions to regulate the parties.
So you people are still in the negotiation process? Are you still negotiating with them?
I don't think we have to negotiate with them.
So was the document signed by the chairperson? Did you sign it?
No, I did not sign it and I cannot sign that document. But some provisions of that document, we shall incorporate them into Act very soon. And it becomes, we shall incorporate them into our regulation. And very soon it will be part of our regulation.
And the whole things will be what? The whole code of conduct that was drafted. You are saying you will take some of them.
Yeah.
And the whole document, where will it go?
Like I said earlier, that this document was initially agreed to be voluntary code of conduct. And then I told them, we as a council, we first don't regulate individual members, which was part of the document. We rejected that. And we told them for this document to have legality, it must have an authority that implements it, and should be the council. And if the council is to implement the document, then it must be mandatory, should not be voluntary. So it was unanimously agreed that the document should be mandatory to all the registered political parties. But when we came for validation of the document, we discovered that some individuals that had contributed toward the establishment of the document wanted to have their signature in that document. And I told them no. Even those who make draft constitutions don't put their signatures. I know this document is for all the parties. So if you say that you want to put your signature, then what about those ones that have not signed the document? They will not be bound by the document. So for the document to have the legality, I have the powers to sign the document as per the Section 18A of the Political Parties Act 2012, Amendment Act 2022. So I'm the right person to sign the document, but nobody should sign the document. So it seems that the document did not work out well. After we closed the meeting, I don't know how it ended, but the truth is we are going to work in conjunction with UNMIS to make sure that we incorporate some of provisions in that document into the code of conduct that we are going to initiate as a council.
In terms of party membership, what system will the council implement for the enrollment and management of members within political parties to ensure there is transparency and accountability?
That's a very good question. We have the advanced registration system where we will be enrolling all the members of the political parties. And within that system, it will be easier for the parties to see their members on all the platforms that in all the states and the administrative areas. And also, it will provide a guiding guidelines for meeting the requirements for registration, because we need to make sure that the diversity is reflected on the system. We want to see that the parties captures all the ethnicity, you know, the various tribes that we have in South Sudan, and we also need to make sure that the 35% is captured on the system, and at the same time it will reduce malpractices, whereby you see one member has 2-3 parties, so you won't be able to have 3 parties. You will be only enrolled on 1 party as a member. So those ones that are switching from one party to other will be very hard to be captured on the other system unless you clear yourself from the other party. So this will actually reduce some other problems that the council may face or the parties may face. But at the same time, it will be joint work. We will be working together with political parties to make sure that they are also involved in this process.
Now, those who are having even 3 or 5 parties, and if they are not the one heading those parties, like they're just members, will the system still reject them?
We will be using the biometric system, and we will also be using if it deems necessary, we may also go for eye, we capture.
Okay.
And this will solve problem where there are no ID cards. Like you see, if you go up country, there are people who do not have nationality. We will use identifiers, and those identifiers we will use will be able to tell us exactly any information we need about the member of a particular party. And if the member goes to another party and want to be a member of another party, even if he changes the name, we can be able to identify by the biometric. So it will actually reduce the malpractice. Yeah.
So this system will be introduced at later stage, or is it, as we speak now, will it be introduced now, like the biometric system? Is it to be introduced now or later on?
No, it is ready. The system is ready.
So we are
at the stage of demo now. We are at the stage of demo, and we will now try to see where we need to have a backup of our data, maybe with the National Communication Authority. We may need to have a backup of our data with them, and we will be having also server in our main office. We will also be having connection to all the registered political parties. Yeah, they can be able to see the system and see their members. Yeah.
So the system is already here, just to reach the parties.
It has already been developed.
Okay.
We are at the demo stage, and probably maybe we need to audit some few things, and the system can easily be implemented soon.
Can you tell the viewers what are some of the roles that I have not mentioned that you play as a political parties, apart from those things that I've mentioned?
Yeah, what I want the public to know, that we as a council, our role is to regulate political parties. And it is political parties' role to talk about things to do with politics. So we are not politicians, and we have got nothing to do with issues that politicians address. And our main focus is on regulating the political parties that want to practice politics. So I want to advise South Sudanese that let us make sure that we know where our rights are, and let us read our laws and regulations that we have, and let us also respect the rule of law. All the parties that want to practice democracy in the country must come and register and regularize themselves, because soon it will be very hard for those ones that are not registered to be practicing politics. So I urge them to either join those ones that have been registered, or they speed up and register.
Now that you are regulating the political parties, this issue of defection, are you also regulating it, or it is their freedom of movement? They can move from party to party?
We don't have rights to stop individual moving from one party to another party. We don't have right to. But what we want to put in place is not to have one individual having 2-3 parties. No. Yeah, you must be a member to a single party, but you will not be having 2 parties.
As chairperson of political parties, finally, is the election going to take place as scheduled for December 2024?
This question is a very good question, and election is a process, and we, the electoral institutions, are interlinked, and it's a responsibility of South Sudanese, and it is the responsibility of stakeholders, and it is the responsibility of partners to the peace agreement to make sure that election takes place, because by the end of transitional period 2025 Feb, the government will end. So there has to be a legitimate government at that time. And for legitimate government to exist, there has to be election. Free, fair, credible, and inclusive election.
Dear viewer of SSBC, we have come to an end of our today's interview, where we were hosting the chairperson of the Political Parties Council, Honorable James Akol Zakayo, who has shed lights on the roles of the political parties before, during, and after the general election. So that's it for now. On behalf of the team, I am Akuch Maker, and we thank you for joining us tonight on SSBC Powerhouse.
Welcome to Powerhouse with Akuch Maker, your weekly engagement into the heart of the nation's political and economic pulsation. Live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. on SSBC television. This is Powerhouse, where realization meets empowerment, just on SSBC television.